Before we get started, hey there, I'm Jason Linett, and maybe you've heard me say this before. The more we're all successful, the more we're all successful. And the one thing that will grow our hypnosis profession better than anything else is to have more of you out there helping your own clients and thriving in your own hypnosis businesses. That's why I'm inviting you to join our private community, exclusively for listeners of the Work Smart Hypnosis podcast. We have several thousand members in the group, and this is where recent guests of the program share additional resources related to their episode. It's a positive community with hypnotic professionals from all around the world. So it's a great place to get your questions answered. And as a benefit, as soon as you join, I'm going to share with you the best of the Work Smart Hypnosis podcast archives. And listen to this. It's absolutely free to join. Go to this website, group.worksmarthypnosis.com. Go there right now, answer a few quick questions, and I'll personally be there to welcome you into this helpful community. Be sure to join today. That website is group.worksmarthypnosis.com. Nicotine patches and nicotine replacement therapies like the gum or the lozenges can help many people to quit smoking because it replaces the chemical qualities of the cigarettes with something else. That's a true statement. Google it. Data backs that up. The numbers are not as high as they would like, but it is a true statement. It does help some people. However, for other people, that leaves things like the emotional story, the identity of being the smoker, the cravings, as well as all of the day-to-day associations unaddressed. Long story short, and that's what I can help you with hypnosis. Hypnosis helps people take back control of their lives. But here's the thing. Too many hypnotists struggle to get consistent results with their clients or grow their hypnosis businesses. I'm Jason Linett, and after more than 2 decades of building a thriving hypnosis practice, I created this podcast to help you do the same. Whether you're just starting your hypnosis journey or if you're ready to scale your business to the next level, you're exactly where you need to be. Welcome to Work Smart Hypnosis. Buckle up, everybody, because this is a rather interesting choice of a topic to share with you as the 450th episode of the Work Smart Hypnosis podcast. Yeah, this is number 450. I've been doing this now for more than a decade, more than 10 years. And this is a topic that I've touched on a few times, though I've never quite shined the spotlight directly on it. And I'm going to tell you in advance that some of what I'm about to talk about, it might rub some of you the wrong way. It might be potentially offensive to a few of you. And said in the most respectful way that I can, that's intentional. Not to put you down or call you dumb. No, it's instead, though, to point out that there's a shift of how you do something that you think is helping you, but I'm here to tell you that it's not. Because the simple statement is, if you lie, your pants will be on fire. Research has proven that. Liar, liar, pants on fire. And related to that too, this is something that I promise you throughout this episode today. I will never speak in absolutes. There will not be a single moment, no exceptions to this, where I ever speak in completely absolute terms. And yes, 3 of you are now giggling because you're hearing that, yes, I'm speaking in absolute terms. Here's the purpose behind this. There's a topic, there's a category of communication called invalidation, and it is a worthwhile strategy sometimes to point out what is great about you and why people should specifically work with you. And a lot of you are doing it in a very crappy way. And my intention of this is to, 1, make our global hypnotic community better, but also 2, help you do it the right way, because the topic of pointing out, here's other things that are out there, but here's what I do. There's a way you can do that with class, with style, with honesty, and well, the title of this week's episode, with integrity. So right now, everybody, I want you to install in yourselves a little bit of a mechanism that suddenly when you hear a certain phrase, a big old red flag starts waving. That when you hear someone say, thing doesn't work. Oh, and there's so many iterations of this. I've heard people say, progressive muscle relaxation as a hypnosis induction doesn't work. I've heard people from a business standpoint say websites don't work. And one of them is really funny to me because they've complimented me over the years many times about my website, stole stuff from my website, but then also paid me a bunch of money for consulting to help make theirs better. But yeah, they're right. Websites don't work. Yeah, they do. When you hear that, it means that they don't know how to make them work. But this technique versus that technique, this other healing modality that's out there, oh, this doesn't work. I bring it to a specific moment where I was teaching a class with James Hazelrig, who's been on this program a number of times. We had about 20 or so people in the room, and someone raises his hand and he goes, well, cognitive behavioral therapy doesn't work because a lot of people call me up and they say that they did that, it didn't help them, but then when we do hypnosis, they get the result. And if you know James, if you've heard his voice before, you know that deep, deep, rich bass baritone voice of his. I don't know musicality, which one it is. It's deep. It sounds good. It's where, just in his perfect style, he goes, the people who came to see you are the ones that maybe it didn't work for. The ones who didn't call you, it did work for. And just, oh, that was a beautiful moment. So I'm about to break this down in terms of how to do this appropriately. Also, as a little self-defense mechanism for all of you, the little red flag that we're installing here is to catch yourself in these moments where other people, they're doing invalidation badly. And this way you don't fall prey to it and get stuck inside of a poor offer, a crappy offer that then doesn't actually help you. So this is our Make It Rain edition this week of the Work Smart Hypnosis podcast, where every Monday I come on and give you something actionable you can put into use immediately. This is session number 450. You can find the show notes of this week's episode by going to worksmarthypnosis.com/450. Let's dive in. Here we go. This is session number 450. Invalidate with integrity. Has your hypnosis client ever said this to you? I felt relaxed, but I don't know if I was hypnotized. If you've heard that before, it means that one of the most critical elements was missing from your hypnosis session. You might have done every hypnosis technique and every hypnotherapy method correctly, but you've accidentally sabotaged your chances of your client getting their desired result. Here's the good news. It's an easy problem to fix. Check out this website, power.worksmarthypnosis.com. This is where you can get instant access to my Hypnotic Phenomenon Power Pack featuring the Hypnotize with Conviction program. It's a foolproof system to reliably create magical moments of hypnotic phenomenon with all of your clients, whether you see them in person or even online. What this does for you is help to build greater conviction that the desired change is already in motion. And even better, it means that your client will be able to actually feel the change taking place. How cool is that? It's these types of magical moments that helped my clients to become the people who sent me referrals and left me 5-star reviews. And I'm inviting you to grab this low-cost method that you can learn today and put to use with your next client. So go to power.worksmarthypnosis.com. Let me start this off right now by speaking in a capitalist free market concept of things. The things that we have at our fingertips, the things that are accessible to us as human beings today in the 21st century, in the years 2026 and beyond, these things are still around because society as a collective whole agrees that these things work. And there's other things that used to be around, used to be a part of our day-to-day life, and now they're not there at all because, by similar logic, society, research, and experience validated that, hey, that thing doesn't work. An easiest example of this, it's been quite a number of years before somebody got the sniffles, somebody got the early stages of a bad cold, and then whether it was them, a family member, a doctor, a loved one who goes, oh, this is serious. We need to get rid of your blood. Let's just cut you open. Let's do a bloodletting, bleed the sickness out into a bucket, problem solved. At one point in our society, that was believed to be one of the best formulas. And clearly, we stopped doing that because that didn't work as well as we thought it did. And I give you that as the foundation because the topic for this Make It Rain Monday is Invalidate with Integrity. So right from the start, right from the beginning, I want you to strike a piece of language out of your communication. Thing doesn't work. Cut that out, unless it's absolutely true without variation and without exception. If that's the case, keep it around. But here's the specific case study examples that I keep running into. Some of you out there, and yes, I'm speaking to you all right now as this community of hypnotists around the world. Some of you out there want to say that talk therapy doesn't work. Well, you know what? Yeah, it does. And you know what's even better, though? There are scores of research that are out there, volumes and piles and mountains of research that says, yes, it does. And, not but, and there's always within these studies a percentage of findings. So you could say it doesn't work for everybody every single time. But you know what? It doesn't work for everybody every single time. That's a statement that's true about everything. So that's just life. That's just part of it. It's where to get from my house where I live to my son's school, which is where I have to drive right after I record this, there are several ways to get there. And it might be that on one day I live in Orlando and here's the major highway around Orlando, I-4. And it might be that I-4 is backed up. That doesn't mean that I-4 doesn't work. It might mean that it's not ideal today. And it might mean I don't know any of the other highways around here by numbers. It might mean I have to go the other way by the airport. There you go. This is my expertise on all things geography and street names in this area in Florida. So I point this out because it comes back to my first instance of really understanding the importance of this, which is where I used to host a meetup group in Northern Virginia when I lived there. And then here was another group of hypnotists who also hosted an event of their own. And someone got up that day and said, most of my clients are the people who have been taken advantage of by therapists and counselors who want to convince them that they have to revisit their story over and over. But we all know that doesn't work. And they come to me because I can actually fix them. Hang on before you get offended. I was quoting someone else. That wasn't me. Now, side note to the story. There were 3 psychologists sitting in the front row of that event that day. And these were 3 people who had come to my meetup event. And they actually came to me in a massive amount of concern going, is this what your industry believes? And I went, no, that's what that person believes. And they are saying something that I won't even give my opinion to say whether it's right or wrong because it doesn't matter. The data proves them wrong. Oh, medications don't work. Don't take this one. Don't take that one. Well, first of all, the majority of you out there, myself included, that is not our expertise to say that. And don't get yourself in trouble. Don't be the next scandal in our industry because that hurts all of us. Just stop it already. But really, it comes around to the fact that, well, that medication may not be the end-all be-all solution to every single person. I'm going to leave out the extra details of the story, but something that I went through a couple of years ago, the doctor actually said, okay, well, at this point, if you're here in front of me, clearly this has been an issue long enough that you've been delaying it. So clearly trying to do this on your own hasn't been the right strategy, and you've been resisting medication. Well, here's what it's going to look like. There's basically 3 options, and it's going to be a matter of which one of these 3 is the one that's going to help you the most. We tried number 1. Hey, guess what? That didn't work for me. We tried number 2. That kind of worked. This is now turning into a Goldilocks and the 3 Bears stories because the last one, the 3rd medication, was just right. And you know what? For the purpose why I occasionally take it, it's the fact that now some of your imaginations are going to some colorful places now because I'm not giving you the details. No, it's not that. But it's where for the right situation, that resolves the issue. And that's what the purpose of the medication is. Now, yes, I'm still talking in terms of bigger picture themes because there's a hidden element, if you pay attention closely to how I teach, embedded inside of all that I do are various frameworks and formulas, which these are things that I developed over time because they made me more effective. They helped me to replicate what I was doing in a way to be better and more consistent at it. And it's kind of an afterthought to realize, hey, you all need this too. So let me give you your easiest formula to do invalidation with integrity. I'm going to give you an A, B, and C. You plug in your pieces into this formula. Thing, and I'm going to give you specifics here too. Thing can help you to A because it B. However, for some people, that leaves C unaddressed, which again, show notes, worksmarthypnosis.com/450. You're going to see this in a bullet point format on that page for you. Thing can help you to A because it B. However, for some people, that leaves C unaddressed. So let me break this down with some other terminology here. Other competing thing that's not the thing that I do can help you to insert specific outcome here. Because what is a specific benefit or feature of that other thing? I'm going to give you examples here in a moment. However, for some people, that can leave other part that the other thing I've been talking about and metaphorically, politely throwing rocks at doesn't help with. However, that can leave C unaddressed. You've been listening to this like a mathematical formula. Let me give you some real-world examples of this. And the disclaimer here before I get into this, go back and listen to everything I've said so far. I am not the person who goes, that doesn't work. I am not the person who goes, stop doing that, that's a waste of your time. In most cases, if it's ever like business consulting, it's that very often, this is a different conversation, mind you, it's that very often you might be doing the right things. You might be doing the right things, but you might be doing them in the wrong order. That's what needs to be addressed. I talked about this on one of the episodes last week, specifically the conversation around websites and search engine optimization. Yeah, SEO works. Clearly, it does. However, for many of you, you've been trying to game the system. You've been trying to trick the search engines. And for more on that, go back and listen to the episode. Was it 450? No, 449 was that one on search engine, on website stuff. So invalidation, let me give you a simple one. And let's go for quitting smoking. And let's talk about nicotine patches and nicotine gum. Let's do it off of that here. I'm going to give you several of these to model. That way, you might just be able to use one of mine, or you'll pick up the formula and be able to make it your own. Nicotine patches and nicotine replacement therapies like the gum or the lozenges can help many people to quit smoking because it replaces the chemical qualities of the cigarettes with something else. Pause here. That's a true statement. Google it. Data backs that up. The numbers are not as high as they would like, but it is a true statement. It does help some people. However, for other people, that leaves things like the emotional story, the identity of being the smoker, the cravings, as well as all of the day-to-day associations unaddressed. Long story short, and that's what I can help you with hypnosis. So there's an example. I didn't pop up and commit the pants on fire lie. That's really my purpose of this week. Stop doing that. Just seriously. It makes you look bad. It makes the rest of us look bad. Cut it out already. So you can't say nicotine gum doesn't work. Here's another one here. The medications that are out there for weight loss, the injections that are out there. Oh, and this brings up an interesting point. Don't call out by name specific brands or companies or people that very likely have better lawyers than you and will absolutely win because you committed libel by saying something that was completely false. So I'm not going to necessarily say Ozempic. I'm not going to say Wegovy or the different brands that are out there. Instead, I'm going to speak in terms of the category of work. Although in retrospect, with the strategy that I'm about to talk you through here, I'm not saying anything that's false. I'm saying things that are verifiably true. However, I can say that to you, and I'm a little too busy to say that in a courtroom, so I don't call out competing things by name, because then that's annoying and that's going to take a long time, and just don't. So listen to this one here. There's a lot of medications that are now becoming popular where it's various peptides and organic compounds that your body already naturally produces. But then people have found through medical research that if you inject them directly into your body, here's where the noise around hunger goes away. Here's where your appetite is almost for some people entirely gone. And it's true, a lot of people have seen really great success as a result of those injectable medications from your doctor. And they work because they're making use of the organic compounds that your body already naturally produces to recognize that you're no longer hungry and you don't need to keep eating. However, for some people, do you hear the transition there? However, for some people, that doesn't quite address what were the stories that got the weight on you in the first place. What about the expectations and the social norms that you've bought into a society that make you convinced that weight loss and maintaining weight loss has to be hard? And that's what I'm able to help with hypnosis. Can I point out a little side note to what I'm doing here? I didn't just completely by accident, completely piss off an entire community of people who have been successful with that other method that's out there. And then hear me go, oh, that doesn't work. And they're going, yeah, it did work. I just need more help. So this is where, back to the story of the competing meetup group and the 3 psychologists in the front row, I'm able to be in their world. This is how, I'm going to say it, a lot of you out there are telling yourselves the false story that doctors are not willing to refer to you. Well, 1, many of them are, and you haven't yet built the right relationships. But 2, it's because there's too many people out there doing the thing doesn't work. So again, stop it, cut it out. It's bad for all of us. Thing can help you to A because it B. Thing can help you to achieve this specific outcome because it spotlight a specific feature or benefit. However, for some people, that leaves other element unaddressed. This is not the narrative that I've heard some people say, such as doctors can't help people, I can. Yeah, cut that crap out right now. Instead, it's again, invalidation with integrity. There's a quick little anecdote that kind of brings this all together, which was a couple of years ago. There were a number of people who were pushing the this doesn't work narrative. And I kind of indirectly became the person who was invalidating other people's sloppy invalidation. Someone going, this doesn't work. And like, here's the research that it does. Richard Nongard is great on this because again, there's people who go, the progressive muscle relaxation induction does not work. Want to bet? It actually is one of the most researched therapeutic interventions in all of our shared collective industries than anything else. It's got so much data, so much proof to back it up. And here's my real intention of this. I want you to look good. I want you to run a thriving business. I want people to find you. I want people to get helped by you. I want their lives to be better. I want your life to be better. This is my stand up on a soapbox moment and saying, stop doing this without the right integrity. So again, you can invalidate other things, but the key is do it with integrity. The formula, once again, competing thing can help you to achieve this specific outcome because it spotlights a specific feature or benefit. Say something nice about the other thing. Seriously, people, will it hurt you to do that? No. Say something nice. Pump it up. Say good things. However, not a but, however, for some people, that leaves specific element unaddressed. And I'm serious, you all. Now that you know better, don't go off and make the unaddressed thing something that is also false. There was a time I was at a networking event and we had a psychologist in our group. And this is not a slight on the life coach. It is a slight on this one specific person because he got up and he goes, make up a name. My name is John Smith. I'm a life coach. And people often ask me, how is what I do different from a psychologist? And I then sort of slyly lean over and just look at the person next to me who's actually the doctor of psychology in our networking group, because then the life coach guy goes, well, there's an easy answer. A psychologist works with your past, and I help you to work on your future. And let's close this out properly. Doctor of psychology sitting next to me, professionally dressed at a rather polite networking event, mutters under her breath, bullshit. And you know the rest of the term there. So say things that are true. Spotlight what's good about other things. That makes you look better too. And Also, draw awareness to where there's a gap and what is not yet properly being addressed by other things. And there's your possible way to then bring attention back to you and the benefit of your services. Let's really close this out the best way that I can with a bit of a golden rule principle, which if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. If you can't yet dial in this invalidation thing, 2 options. 1, I'm Jason. This is Work Smart Hypnosis. Send me an email, jason@worksmarthypnosis.com. Send it to me, or go over to group.worksmarthypnosis.com. Put it up as a post and ask, am I doing this right? Is this fair? Is this valid? And we're going to be kind to you and we're going to be supportive of it. So there's option 1. If you're on the fence, if you're doing it correctly, put us to work. Use us as a resource. Or option 2, back to the golden rule, when in doubt, don't. You don't have to do this. Whenever I speak about invalidation in terms of marketing messaging, it always appears as actually a 2-word concept: optional invalidation. So you don't have to use this, but if you are, at least, please, for all of us, do it right. Thank you for listening to the Work Smart Hypnosis podcast with Jason Linett. The more we're all successful, the more we're all successful. I've made that statement for years. It's why I do this show. And here is one thing that you can do today to help do your part. Go to worksmarthypnosis.com/podcast. Go there and make sure you're subscribed on your favorite podcast platform. And if you've enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you'd leave a review. Your feedback helps other hypnosis professionals find the show. Subscribe and share your thoughts today at worksmarthypnosis.com/podcast.